We recently put out a video where I talked about my favorite motorcycles from all of the manufacturers on sale today. And many of you rightfully pointed out, you missed a few manufacturers. So in light of doing a good service to the channel and the good people on YouTube, here's my other favorite motorcycles from all the other manufacturers, starting with none other than Royal Enfield. Royal Enfield's been killing it lately. They're making a ton of bikes at great price points with cool colors and guess what? Selling a bunch of motorcycles. I've had the chance to test lots of them. Interceptor 650s, Continental GTs, the Shotgun 650 out in California, the Himalayan 450 in the Himalayas, and it may surprise you to learn that the humble new Himalayan 450 is my preferred Royal Enfield. There's a few reasons why. The first reason is that the Himalayan 450 is something all new from Royal Enfield. It's a liquid-cooled 452cc parallel twin, making 40 horsepower and 30 foot-pounds of torque. This motorcycle really exemplifies the everything you need and nothing you don't mentality. It's got a great willing single-cylinder engine. That new Sherpa motor found in it is very good, featuring a 2117 wheel and tire setup, TFT display, switchable ABS, and plenty of ride modes too. Royal Enfield really kicked off this new baby adventure category in our opinion because this motorcycle really gets it right. The weight isn't too heavy, it's got the right wheel and tire setup, and it's very easy to manage. It's actually really cool riding this motorcycle in the Himalayas because you really feel the sense that it was built for that specific environment. So with a punchy single cylinder, low weight, approachability, it's a great motorcycle for a real deal adventure. But much like the old KLR 650 and the old Himalayan 411, you're not going to be going too fast to get to your destination. This motorcycle is really more about enjoying the ride and getting there in a stylish and fun way. Pricing is about $5,700 to $6,400 depending on the paint schemes that you get, and I think it's a pretty sweet bike. If I had my druthers, this is the Royal Enfield that I would pick. Next up, the giant red sleeping monster motorcycle maker CFMoto that is printing out new bikes left and right. We legitimately cannot keep up with the coverage here on Yami Noob. I've been pretty impressed with CFMoto's newest offerings. I got the chance to try the 450 SS recently, and I thought it was a great bike. One of the things I mentioned about CFMoto in my original review of the 450 SS was that if it was a Yamaha product and a Yamaha R-bike styling, everyone would be losing their minds with the price point and the look and feel of the bike. Some of the branding of CFMoto is holding it back, but their newer offerings are getting to the point where you can't really ignore them anymore. Chief among them, and my favorite CFMoto on the market right now, the 675 SS. The 675 SS, although sharing a very storied number from a certain old Triumph that I am a very big fan of, is a 3-cylinder sport bike, but isn't nearly as fire-breathing as that old model. It features a pretty modern liquid-cooled 675cc 3-cylinder motor making 95 horsepower and 52 foot-pounds of torque. As I said, those aren't fire-breathing numbers. Those are certainly not even relatively competitive 600 numbers. Really what CFMoto is doing that gets me so excited is they're making bikes at price points that are super accessible that people simply want to buy. People aren't so wrapped up nowadays with racing and homologated classes and all that sort of thing, and those who are really veering towards the top shelf of the categories. Think of stuff like Ducati V4R, the BMW M1000RR, or Yamaha's R1M. This new middleweight category is really more about just fun, approachable, good street-mannered motorcycles. So this bike has fully adjustable KYB fork and a rear shock as well, adjustable traction control, a steering damper, which, you know, maybe or may not need be required, tire pressure monitoring system on board, and an up and down quick shifter. The craziest part is that this bike retails for $8,000 brand new. That is a lot of value when you consider it against the R7 or the Daytona 660. Now you might say, yeah, that's because it's a Chinese motorcycle. The reliability is unknown. But to be honest, CFMotos appear to be working better than a lot of Kawasaki's and KTM products at this point. So it remains to be seen whether or not these bikes are genuinely completely unreliable or not. All I know is that the vast majority of motorcyclists don't really stack up tens of thousands of miles on their bikes every year. And I bet you if you were to buy a CFMoto and probably chuck on 15 or 20,000 miles on the machine, till you ultimately sell it, which is what most of us do with our motorcycles, I'm sure it would be just fine. If you're buying a motorcycle to go hypermiling and crazy long distance, the 675 SS really isn't on your radar anyways. This bike is cool, it sounds cool, I think it's meeting the moment, it's really affordably priced, and again, ignore CFMoto at your own peril. I'm pretty excited to see the new 750 and V4 offerings from them as well. All right, another manufacturer that I missed that people definitely wanted me to talk about is Moto Guzzi, baby. Part of the Piaggio group, part of the same family as Aprilia, sharing a lot of parts, but still very much their own thing. Guzzi doesn't really sell a whole lot of different motorcycles, but if I had my way, the V7 Special is my favorite. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think a Moto Guzzi should have electronically actuated winglets and crazy touring features and a V-twin that's longitudinally mounted that makes 120 something horsepower. Moto Guzzi doesn't need to be BMW, if you catch my drift. I think Moto Guzzi is at its best when it's making the air-cooled 855cc V-twins and that classic V7 Special frame and setup. I just think it looks cool, man. It's kind of like the alternate dimension Bonneville that never was. The V7 Special is just a sweet bike, making about 67 horsepower and 58 foot-pounds of torque. The new model features ride-by-wire throttle, ride modes, switchable traction control. It's got ABS, Brembo brakes if I remember correctly, spoked wheels, and I think cruise control too, which is pretty sweet. Of course, it is an Italian motorcycle. It's trading on its heritage and name, so it does cost $10,190, which is not cheap, but you get them in some pretty cool paint jobs, and they are certainly unique. For some reason, Guzzis, much like Bonnevilles and some old BMWs, just get people talking. If you want a motorcycle to pull up to your local cafe, your local dive bar, don't drink and ride, maybe pull up to your favorite restaurant, maybe go out on a date with it, it's a really cool bike to own for that reason. Moto Guzzi, to me, fits much better as a lifestyle accessory rather than somebody trying to buy a very specific motorcycle for a specific job. I wouldn't buy a Guzzi to go commuting, I wouldn't buy it to go touring, but as a cool, like, weekend bop-around motorcycle, V7 Special, pretty sweet ride. Oh, Lord have mercy, calling all the brothers, Harley-Davidson's about to be talked about. What could Yammy Noob's favorite Harley-Davidson possibly be? What answer shall I give? They don't make the Sportster anymore, and I really don't care for baggers very much, because if you want to go long distance, you can certainly do it with a better, lighter, more efficient motorcycle. How about the Pan America ST? When this model was debuted, I thought to myself, ooh, finally, Harley-Davidson's given us a little bit of sport touring with a punch to the straight to the tip, baby. Liquid-cooled RevMax V-twin, 1250 cc's, making 150 ponies and 95 foot-pounds of torque. Y'all are gonna hate me for saying this, but this bike's got a little bit of KTM sprinkled on top, a little bit of Ducati sprinkled on top, and it just goes to prove that when Harley-Davidson wants to do something, they can just make it. They can just go out there and just create something really good for people to enjoy and ride. So the STs are running on 17-inch wheels and tires, fully street biased. It is not a motorcycle with any adventure capabilities in mind. And honestly, this is probably the Pan America at its best. If memory serves me correctly, this motorcycle weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of a little above 500 pounds, and quite frankly, that's just too heavy to take off-road on anything more than a very manicured fire road or gravel trail. Now, many of you are doing that with your Pan Americas, and that is super cool, but I really think that this is the best use case for the model. Fully adjustable electronic suspension with preload, cornering ABS, traction control, wheel lift control, electronically linked braking, and with the hydraulic lifters, no valve checks required. So this bike is really Harley doing its best. Say what you will, the big bagger bikes, not my cup of tea. They are very good at going very long distances for a very long time. This Pan America ST can also do very long distances for a very long time. I don't know, it's looking pretty good to me. And at $19,999, it's actually priced reasonably competitively. Do I want one as a giveaway bike all of a sudden? I kind of do. You guys let me know if we should do that. Another manufacturer that did not find its way on our last video is MV Agusta. Now, I love MV Agusta, but I also hate MV Agusta. MV Agusta is one of those companies that is always like, will they, won't they? They're kind of in the past, but also in the future. And they're very hard to love, man. If you've ever owned an MV Agusta, which I have not, you know that you just leave them in the garage and things just break without you riding them. Electrical things happen, different things go haywire. It is not a bike I would necessarily own. But I gotta tell you, that Brutale 800RR, Lord have mercy, that is a good motorcycle. We had one of these in the shop back in 2021 as a loaner bike from Eurocycle Las Vegas, and man, it is so good. It's so fun to ride, and it makes me wish that MV Agusta could just be bought by a sort of Audi group, a sort of larger conglomerate that could just get them to streamline some of their processes and give these bikes the love that they deserve. MV Agusta to me feels like Ducati felt like in the late 2000s. You can see the potential. You just need some adults in the room who aren't drinking espresso and taking 6-week-long vacations in August to get their shit together. So 798cc inline triple making 140 horsepower and 64 foot-pounds of torque. It's light as all hell too. This motorcycle has fully adjustable Marzocchi fork in the front. It's got a sack shock out back, Brembo calipers, wheelie control, rear lift control for heavy braking, cruise control, launch control. It's got everything you could want, and it just feels so good to ride. The thing rips. It's got all the character and flash that you'd want from a 3-cylinder. It revs like stink. It just has everything going for it. But again, MV is a difficult brand to love. But if I had my druthers, this is the one I would pick. I know some of you are confused saying, yeah, you wouldn't pick the $80,000 Series Oro? Come on, I'm not that tacky. I'm not that flashy. I'll take the Brutale. Thank you very much. All right, the other home team, Indian Motorcycles. Now, I got to admit, Indian's not making a whole lot that I'm super excited about. They seem to have kind of let the FTR go the way of the dodo. They seem to be focusing more on their cruiser and sport cruiser lineups. So I kind of had to dig around the website a little bit to see which bike I would really gel with. Indian's not a brand I think a whole lot about, but I thought the Sport Scout was pretty cool. So it's using the liquid-cooled 1250cc V-twin that you would find in the normal Scout, making 105 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque. We had an Indian Scout all the way back in 2020 that we did as a giveaway bike, and I was pleasantly surprised at how fun and capable the bike was, despite its very low seat height and obviously like super foot forward controls. Between the frame and the motor and the ergonomics and the old school styling, the Scout was always a strange mismatch to me of ultra high performance, modern feel, wrapped up in kind of an old school thing. So the Sport Scout kind of follows along that trend, but just, in my opinion, gives it what you kind of need. So you get an analog speedometer, cast wheels, 6-inch risers, quarter fairing, and the ABS. This bike is expensive at $13,500, but it's an American cruiser adjacent product. You really shouldn't expect anything else. It's going to be a little bit pricey. But if I were to pick any Indian, I think this is the one I would pick. I think I'd gel with it pretty well. All right, boys, hopefully I managed to hit the manufacturers you thought that I missed last time. What do you think about my choices? Let me know down below. If you have some fighting words about Harley-Davidson or CFMoto or Royal Enfield for some reason, I thought I was pretty kind to them today. Let me know in the comments down below. I truly do appreciate you watching today's video. And this R9 behind me is a giveaway bike. Surprise, surprise. Head over to the website, check it out, get entered to win. I truly do appreciate it. Catch you in the next one. See you later. Bye-bye. Wait. You gotta click this video. Oh, if you thought it was over, it's not. It's never over. It's never, ever, 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 ever over with you and me. It's never over with you and me. It's not over. Click the video right now. Do it. Do it.